go. Hello, my name is Bryce Tubbs. With me today is Ruth Sternberg. She is known as the strengths detective at the entrepreneurial job search. It's her mission to help job seekers cut through the rhetoric and the BS to help them see their value and explain it to employers. I cannot wait to have this conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Ruth.
Thanks for inviting me, Bryce.
You're welcome. Before we go any further, for those watching, if you're watching this from any location that is outside of our free community, I just want to personally invite you inside. It's taken a very, very, very long time to cultivate such a positive group of people. We'd love to have you join us. Click the link out above or below. Join us inside. Now, Ruth, what was life like before you got into coaching? What was the catalyst that brought you into the space?
Well, I've always been a mentor to people, especially younger people. And I've always been one of those people who can't resist helping someone if they have an issue. Mm-hmm. Over the years, I've helped a lot of people go over their resumes and talk about their goals for the future. But before I got into this space, I was and continue to be a writer. My entire career has been as a professional writer for more than 30 years. I was in print journalism for 20 years. I was in nonprofits, and I was a grant writer for 14 years. And I've also done copywriting for people in business. I've always, for at least since 1999, I have sort of been a hybrid worker where I've had full-time jobs, but then I also have done freelance work for various people. And so, I don't know, I finally decided that I wanted to just give myself over to doing this work with job seekers. And right now, with so many people out of work, there's a crying need for it. And I think people have lost a sense that, when you're at home, right, and you have time to think and something cataclysmic has happened, maybe you've lost your job, this is a time when you often start to think about where you're going in life and how you got where you are. And sometimes people come to the realization that they're just not happy and they need to make a change. So I like to be here for you, if that's you.
Yeah. So, can you talk a little bit more about what the problems people are going through? Because like you said, right now we're kind of in that little quarantine / social economic kind of change shifter. So what problems are people generally going through right now that you're seeing?
Well, I'm seeing that people are, a lot of people were furloughed during this period, and people are waiting, and a lot of people have been called back to work, and some have just been told, no, we're not replacing you. And of course, there are people who are now working remotely who never really did that before. And I think what they're feeling now is they're really feeling their relationships to their jobs. Our jobs are our sense of identities, right? In this culture that we live in. And I think there's been a lot of people are reevaluating that relationship. They're not going into an office every day. They're having to, I don't know how you would put it exactly, feel the feelings about how they feel about doing the work every day. They're starting to realize how overworked they've been, if they've been overworked. They're starting to really see what the relationships are like with their colleagues and their bosses, because everybody has to adapt in a different way now. And they're also having some quiet time. Sitting, if they don't have children, that is, who need to be homeschooled, right, at this time. I think people are, they're having time and space to think a lot about what their lives are about, and realizing that, maybe they wanted to, I'm getting people saying to me, I've been wanting to change jobs for a while. I think now I'm going to do it. Or, I don't want to do this work anymore. I want to do something else that I was trained for before, but I never really did. And they have some time to think about it now. I also think that when you're in a situation like this that appears, feels like a crisis, there's a disease, a pandemic, and people are dying, and there's a threat. We tend to reevaluate our lives and our purposes, and I think that's what's going on for a lot of people.
Can I ask you this weird question?
Sure.
So, they talk about the cycles, right? Every 10 or so years, then just things go wrong. Are you seeing that it's more of like the younger, 40 and under kind of population who might not have, been in such a contraction before, or is it just everywhere across the board?
Um, I'm seeing, I'm a person in my late 50s, and I'm seeing it with people 40 plus.
Ah,
I mean, because that's my market that I serve. But I don't necessarily think it's something that is age specific.
uh-huh.
That being said, I think when you're younger, you may be on the beginning of a path,
Mm-hmm.
and you haven't been through enough yet to really have anything to evaluate,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. So I think it's natural, even when there's not a pandemic, for people who are a little bit older to start questioning their lives,
Yeah, because the reason why I asked the question is because like back when like 2008, 2009, 2010, like that time period was also devastating, maybe in a different way, but I didn't think that would actually hit the people 40, 50, 60 plus the same way. Or it's interesting. Cool.
Well, I also think that, and I hope you can't hear that lawnmower outside, but it's pretty loud.
Not too
But
bad.
yeah, it's this time every Monday, it's the landscaper's delight, Well, they're working. God bless them, they're working, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, it's a good thing. But what were we saying? Oh, we were talking about
the ages.
life reevaluation.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
I think when you get past the midpoint of your life,
Uh.
you start thinking more about what am I headed towards now? Do I want to keep working? How long do I want to keep working? I've done all of this work in my life
Yeah.
for certain people, certain companies. What does it mean? I mean, I think it's just a normal thing to ask. Not everybody is that introspective, but many people are. And I think that many people ask themselves, like, what have I been doing all this for? You know what I mean? So it's only normal.
Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah. I'm just kind of writing that down because that's something that I
Sure.
noticed, but it wasn't until like you said it like that where it's like that's why that answer is the answer across the board that I'm seeing. Yeah, because I'm seeing that a lot now. It's like people in the last 2 or 3 years, ended their corporate job and they went more into either their own business or side hustles and stuff. And they're saying, I just want to start building my dream. So it's interesting. Let me ask you this question. So,
Sure.
I think we talked before. You said you used to think a lot differently what you think now, and part of thinking clarity is like vision, right? So, what does the vision for you look like for as far down the road as you like to think or talk about right now?
The thing that's changed for me, I'd say, over the years has been that I don't feel like I'm running to get somewhere. And, I feel like life isn't a race. It's a journey and a process. And I feel that being open to things that happen to you every day, every hour of your life is really, for me, that's what life is about. It's about observing what's going on around me and within me, trying not to be reactive to things that are going on, but rather being reflective and responsive, uh, and recognizing that life's really about all the little moments that add up, and not necessarily about I have to get somewhere, I have to get somewhere, I have to get somewhere. And now without, that being said, I don't mean one should live life without any goals. I mean, I'm not suggesting that, but I am saying that sometimes many of us will not pay attention to what's going on right under our noses,
Oh.
Because we're looking over there to that next thing, right? And we're not here. I've seen a lot of posts during this shutdown period from people on Facebook talking about how this has forced them to become more reflective and live in the moment, and I think that's a good thing. I do wish, and this is a really maybe hypocritical thing to say because I'm in business, but I wish people would get off of social media. I wish they would take some breaks because, it becomes a search for external validation.
Mm.
It becomes an addiction to stimuli, and that takes you away from where you are. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
There's great value in it. Yeah.
I think I'm kind of weird in regards to that, because like that's interesting. Yeah, because I'm seeing actually a lot of people saying, I want this year to be over. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We got 4 months left. We're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You want to like, it's almost like
I want to wish my life away.
yeah, or like how like with movies, how they used to come out a lot, and they'd be like, next year, and everybody be like, okay, we just got to make it to next year. I'm like, no, let's enjoy it right now. You know?
Well, there's a lot to enjoy about right now.
Yeah.
And I realized that somebody watching this may be thinking, I just lost a family member to COVID-19.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what you're talking about. You're not being empathetic, but the thing is, life happens all around us. People are born and they die, all the time, every day, right? I really, for whatever reason, and I'm not putting a judgment on it, good, bad, it is what it is. And I think that's what you're saying too, is we need to be in the now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of now, just because we're not socializing like we were doesn't mean we're not living our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my husband and I are enjoying our house now. We enjoy sitting on the porch. We'll cook out in the backyard. I'm actually kind of enjoying a little bit of solitude, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, because I mean, I experienced some deaths in the family too. So it's like, it's one of those where it's like, it's weird where it's like that balance of having goals and being able to just kind of like, for example, I sometimes will go take a drive pretty much every single day. Just like you were saying, relax in my front yard, standing on, we have like bricks, like I planted a tree, and there's a larger tree next to it, and then there's kind of like a little bit of a stone, so I just walk in circles in the
That's
shade.
great.
It's kind of fun, but yeah. But let me ask you this question: so where can people go to learn more about you, and where can they go to connect with you further?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can look me up there. And I also have a website. It is entrepreneurialjobsearch.com, but I have an alternative path to get there for people that can't spell entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And that is my name, Ruth-Ellen Sternberg.
Yeah, that's the real thing.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. And like when I picked that name, my husband goes, no one can spell this, right? And I picked it originally because when you're in job search, you are like an entrepreneur. You when you view, it changes your point of view to your search when you realize that you are kind of like a consultant looking for the next client, because you are out there to offer an employer a solution to problems, right? To help them make money, to help them whatever it is that they advertise the position to do. You're the answer. And that's what consultants do. They meet with clients and they figure out what they need, and then they offer to help. And that's why I decided to name it that. But you can still reach me at Ruth-Ellen Sternberg.com. And that's Sternberg, no U's. So.
Excellent. Thanks so much for your time today. It was really fun getting to know you and just learning more about you.
Yeah, it was fun talking to you too. However short this was, but.
I mean, we've been here for about 15, 20 minutes so far.
God, it feels like 5.
I know, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so good. I'm going to have to interview you for my Zoom interview thing that I do.
Oh, that could be great. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just give me a calendar link or something. Oh, we're still doing an interview right now. But for those watching, we thoroughly hope you found this fun. And once again, right now, if you're feeling kind of socially displaced, or maybe the people around you are not very supportive of your goals and your dreams, maybe you started a business recently and it's just not going very well so far, why don't you come and join us inside of our community? Inside, we have a lot of people who are improving themselves and helping others do the same. People just like Ruth, who have been doing this for a lot of years. So if you want to kind of reach your goals a little bit faster, go get around people who actually have done it in the past for their own businesses. So if that's you, go on ahead and click on the link either above or below. Join us inside today. Now, hopefully you enjoyed watching this. Have a great day. We're done recording in 3 and 2 and 1, and we're